How did Outlook come about?
Outlook came about over a period of time from my experience working as a teacher, as an administrator, as a small school developer in the Milwaukee area and outside the Milwaukee area, where I had the opportunity to see a lot of the best practices that happen across the country. One of the things that I always wondered was, why was it so difficult for youth in the urban areas to have access to early college initiatives? So when I became part of an intermediary of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that actually gave money to start schools, I thought that it would be a good opportunity to try and push this idea that I had been toying with for a number of years through. So what we did was kind of identify some professions that are underserved by people of color, and be deliberate about approaching specific historically black colleges and universities and asking for something that's unprecedented. So what we did was we went to Jackson State University, we went to Alcorn State University, we went to Southern University and Tennessee State University, and what we did was we basically laid out the need that there is such a need for more students of color to have access to early college initiatives, and really developed a plan that was comprehensive enough to make them all say that they would participate. So Outlook, having a memorandum of agreement in place with these particular colleges that I named that gives up to 30 college credits, is right now something one of a kind. So it came about from the years of wanting to see something more for our students, wanting to be a part of helping students get into college and then get there and be successful, and wanting to give a really truly fulfilling high school experience that brought all that into it.
How did Outlook get its name?
Outlook got its name, well, it's a couple of ways that Outlook got its name. Actually, you know, when you think about Outlook, what you really think, what comes to mind is your frame of mind. And at the time when I was trying to really put the nuts and bolts of this initiative together and then wondering what to name it, I actually had a son that was sick. He was in the NICU, neonatal intensive care unit. And it's very easy to lose your outlook. It's very easy to lose sight of what's truly important in your life. But when you get in a situation like that, it brings it all home. So I was there in his room one day, and I would read my paperwork back to him, and of course he couldn't respond. But I looked at my computer, and I just saw this empty page, and I said, you know what I put on this page on my computer says the world of things. I have an opportunity to put anything there positive. My outlook dictates what goes there. My outlook dictates whatever happens with him, how we'll move forward as a family. So I said, you know what, that's the name for the school, Outlook.
So at this 3-week period in time for the school, how do you think it's doing?
I think that we've got a tremendous amount of work to do, because number one, we are an early college model school. However, everyone that currently is attending Outlook doesn't necessarily have the early college aptitude. Doesn't mean that they can't get it. That means that we have to develop mechanisms to help instill that. So we had no idea that we would have to create a leadership program that would help students understand that going to school from 8 to 5 is just like a job. And the more you put into your job, the more you get out of it. So our motto was to meet students, or is to meet students where they are and get them where they need to be, which means that as this initiative goes forward, we're going to have to constantly rethink what we're doing, but yet keep with the vision of the plan. So if you're asking me if where we are right now at this 3-week mark is where I'd like to be, I'm going to say not quite, but I am extremely inspired and optimistic that we will get to where we need to be. But what it's going to take is students like you and other individuals that are in the studio right now to help set the tone and create a pulse of positivity that resonates throughout the building.
Okay. All right. Outlook has incurred a lot of problems so far in this 3-week period. So what have you done to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, we put a couple of initiatives in place at Outlook, and we have to understand exactly where we are, the individuals around us, the individuals that have come to be a part of us, to really fully understand some of the circumstances that we're facing right now. Okay? Number one, we understand that Outlook is an 8 to 5 school. We get out at 5 o'clock. Most of our neighboring schools get out at 2:40, which opens the door, which opens the floodgates of individuals coming to the school that aren't necessarily a part of our school environment. So it created a pretty nasty dynamic for a couple of days. And one of the things that we've put in place is to start a shuttle service so that the students of Outlook can, at the very least, be taken to a bus stop away from a highly active bus stop, let's put it that way, at least start the process of getting home safely or without being harassed. So that is just one of the things we put in place. Another thing that we put in place, as I mentioned earlier, was the leadership program, where we are being deliberate about trying to work with individuals that just aren't quite ready for the early college model setting yet, but doesn't necessarily mean that they won't be or don't have the capacity to get there. Another thing that we put in place was the Junior Senior Design Project. Outlook was designed to start with 8th and 9th graders. But as we moved along, we saw that there was such a following of 10th graders, and we decided to have a select 10th grade. And then we decided to do some select 11th and 12th grade, and then taking over the building of a former city charter school where students were displaced, we thought it was our civic duty to create a program that could help juniors and seniors get the credits that they needed for graduation with the state of Wisconsin at an accelerated rate, and at the same time get some early college experience. So these are all programs that we had to put in place outside of the early college initiative that we wanted to start.
Thanks for the interview.
Thank you. Excellent job.